If you are a PA, NP, pharmacist, etc., and you're not already well on your way to becoming a millionaire, you need to watch this video. It turns out that my slogan I like to use, Millionaire in Medicine, is actually not a luxury for any medical professional earning six figures, but a necessity. In order for you to have a standard retirement in your mid-60s and maintain your current lifestyle with adjustments for inflation, becoming a millionaire is really required. Now, before we talk about why this is necessary, let's first cover if it is even possible. If you know my story, I became a millionaire at 31, so it's definitely possible, but it's possible even without the sacrifices that I made to get there. Here are some sample numbers for a PA earning $110,000 per year. In this example, the person invests 15% of their gross or pre-tax income every single year faithfully, starting at age 28. You can see that they actually cross the millionaire mark by 55, and by 65, they're in fact multi-millionaires. The only reason this comes to fruition is really two things. The first is a high enough percent of gross income investing rate. This is often called a savings rate, and I use the example of 15% here to show that that alone can get you to the multimillionaire mark, but for most medical professionals, it really should be closer to 20%, especially when you factor in the fact that very few of us actually start this consistent investing at 28, as many of us are still in graduate school at that time. The second thing that allows this to happen is consistency over long periods of time. If you do a little bit here and a little bit there, but you miss the consistent pattern of investing a sufficient amount of your gross income every single month, you don't get these same results. So first is having a high enough savings rate, and second is starting early and staying consistent. So now, why do you even need to be a multimillionaire? Is that necessary? It sounds kind of outlandish and over the top, but it actually is just a matter of fact that it's a position you have to be in to make sure that your future self is well taken care of. This is a very important rule of thumb for you to know as a medical professional. We use something called a safe withdrawal rate to determine how much you need to have in order to retire. Now, getting into the weeds on this is way beyond the scope of this video, but there is a lot of data, namely the Trinity study, that points us to the answer of 4% being a safe withdrawal rate. What does that mean? It means that of your entire portfolio, you would withdraw 4% per year plus inflation adjustments annually, and that's how you would live in retirement. That's how you would live off of your investments. Now, there's other distribution strategies, and we're not going to cover all of that, but this general rule can help you figure out what exactly do I need to say I am ready for my standard retirement. Very important to note that this study, this rule, actually came from looking at 30-year retirement terms. So if you think you're going to retire at 45 and be retired until 90, this rule probably doesn't hold true for you anymore. Regardless, when you reverse engineer that withdrawal rate, you see this very simple rule of thumb. $1 million invested translates to $40,000 per year to live off of. $1 million invested, $40,000 per year. So you can look at your annual expenses and what you're used to living off of, and then add in inflation, and very quickly see, wow, in order for me to maintain my same standard of living, ignoring Social Security, multiple millions is what I will need to do that. This is actually an article I wrote for NCCPA detailing what it would look like for a PA to fund their retirement without Social Security. And in it, I gave some example numbers of how you can use your annual expenses, adjust for inflation, and figure this out. So I wanted to show you now so that you can do this for yourself. If you earn $120,000 per year, annual expenses of $70,000, using a 2.5% annual inflation rate, it would cost you, for this example, $146,000 approximately in 2053 to buy the same amount of stuff that you can buy right now with your current salary and your current expenses. So then you're using $146,000 as your new number. You're multiplying by 25, which is essentially you using that 4% withdrawal rate that we look at for people retiring in their mid-60s. And you get this answer, 3.67 million. And so that brings me back to the beginning of this video. Being a multimillionaire isn't a luxury for you, it's actually a necessity, and it's because of your high income. This is the blessing and the curse that goes along with having a six-figure job. Something to be grateful for, but maybe you didn't know that this is the piece on the back end that replacing that income with investing for your retirement does require a decent-sized nest egg. Now, once you hit this mark and you know for sure that you're on track for an inflation-adjusted retirement, you have the whole world available to you in terms of options. You could make plans to retire early, or you could transition to focusing on building generational wealth. If you're curious how we figured out how to make our child a multimillionaire using a 3-account setup, make sure you watch my next video here. Otherwise, click the links below. We've got all sorts of resources to help you navigate this. If you watch this and you're overwhelmed, I promise you can and will end up a multimillionaire at the end of your career.